Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I have a guest on from United Way, along with a guest from Mary Market, and also we'll have on from the Chamber of Commerce a guest that will be talking about upcoming events. So ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you stay tuned for those interviews in just a moment. Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have guests on from United Way, and I'll also have on a board member from United Way that will be talking about the Mary Market. I have on the Executive Director, Patty Youngblood. Patty, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Alton. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you again, and also have on, ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie Preston. Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alton. It's fun to be here.
Well, you ladies, we have a lot of pretty decoration here on my set, so I want to thank you all very much for that, first of all. But we're also here to talk a little bit about a program I think is near and dear to both you ladies' heart, and also to our community. But before we get started talking about that, Pat, I want to just ask you now, you've been the Executive Director for United Way for a number of years now.
I have.
And I know it's been a wonderful ride for you. Talk a little bit about United Way and the last campaign that we just finished and how we achieved our goal.
Well, last year our goal was $1,111,111, and we surpassed our goal. We were really excited about that. Robbie Birch was our campaign chairman, and we have Robbie Birch as our campaign chairman again this year. This year happens to be the 125th anniversary of the founding of the movement that became United Way. And so we've taken that as our theme for this year's campaign, and our goal that we announced at our kickoff is $1,125,000. And we really feel like that's very attainable, and it plays into the theme of the anniversary of United Way. So we're excited. We kicked off September the 6th. Campaign's in full swing, and we're really excited about Mary Market because that's a new part of our campaign that we started last year.
Well, very good. You know, I remember being on the allocations committee, and to see the things that the funding that is raised here in this community, some of the things that they do, you know, it's just, you know, it's amazing, you know, to see the things and the programs and the lives that it touched. So that's a direct, I guess, contribute to you, Patty, and the board members and all of the staff members there at United Way.
Well, and the volunteers from the community, because you mentioned allocations. That's such an important part of what we do. And people think I make that decision or my board makes that decision, but the basis of the decision is made by community volunteers who actually go out, as you know. They get a copy of the budget, they get a copy of questions that have been asked. We have every agency who receives funding from United Way has to apply every year. It's not an automatic that you got money last year, and it's not an automatic that you got this much last year and you'll get the same amount. As we all know, the economy has fluctuated, and so we've had to really be very judicious in making those decisions, and the recommendations come from community volunteers.
Absolutely, and it's been a pleasure for me to work with you and the staff and the volunteers too.
We really enjoy all of that.
Thank you, Patty. Now, Stephanie, I don't know that I had you on the show before, but we noted you are here to talk a little bit about Mary Market. Talk about what is Mary Market. I think this will be the second year?
Second year,
okay.
Right.
Talk about Mary Market for us.
We were looking for a format, a fundraising format that was new for LaGrange several years ago to fund early learning programs in Troup County. And that's how we landed on Mary Market. It's a format that's pretty popular in the Southeast right now. They do a show like this in larger cities. We use a similar vendor to set up our shopping area. We set it up the same way some of the bigger places do, so when you go inside our shopping market, it's going to look the same type of format as some of the other ones. So we landed on this successful format, and we started last year. We go to Callaway Conference Center, and we set up, and you go in and you're just in this fabulous shopping market. We have volunteers that set up great decorations, and volunteers that host the event, and volunteers that take up tickets. So we have a variety of people that participate to make this a great success.
Well, you know, you're talking about a shopping market, and I know that, you know, a lot of people, might, including myself, we love to shop, and especially when you have things that, you know, you like to give things that people can utilize. And I know that you have a nice array of boxes here this morning, so I'm hoping one of these is for me. I'm going to shake it here in just a second.
Anyone you want.
Anyone I want. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit. Now, what are some things that the people, that when they come to the Mary Market, what are some items that they can look to see?
We try real hard to have a variety of items and some unique and specialty items that people won't see other places. We feel like our market was very successful last year because we've got some returning vendors this year. So let me tell you about our returning vendors first, because some of our viewers that came might be glad to hear that Silver Olay is coming back. Silver Olay is a wonderful lady that came down from New York City. She travels the area and she comes to LaGrange. She has beautiful silver pewter, Mexican pewter is what she calls it, homeware items, and she also has jewelry. She was right in the front last year, and she's going to be right in the front again this year. So for people that are starting to make their list, their wish list, they can put that on there. Their shopping list, they can put Silver Olay on there.
Right.
Another one of our vendors that's coming back is All of Us, and they're coming from Louisiana. And they were very crowded last year because they're a soup and dip vendor, and they had samples. Everybody loves food samples. They flock to the food samples. So while they're eating, they can shop. But they were great gift items as well. You know, I think I tried to go around and shop from every one of the vendors, so my pocketbook really was hurting last year.
Oh,
so I've been saving for this year. But they're coming back, and we have a Stella and Dot representative from LaGrange, Megan Waycaster from the Chamber, who's doing Stella and Dot again. And that's beautiful jewelry, and she'll be back again this year. We have Usborne Books coming from Opelika, so we've got books. Shelby's Marketplace has gifts and a variety of other items, and she's coming from Leesburg, Georgia. So we're pulling from a lot of different areas.
Okay,
some of our newer vendors this year, which are really kind of fun, are we've got two ladies' clotheslines. And it's driving something else that we're going to do. I'll talk to you about the preview party in a minute. But the two ladies' clotheslines, one of them's coming from North Carolina, and she's more traditional type clothes.
Okay.
And the other lady, her name is Mainstream Boutique. And the other vendor we have coming from Stone Mountain is Masai International, and she sells a line just African Image. And those are a lot more trendy clothes. So it's a lot of fun and different ends of the spectrum. So we're trying to reach a lot of different people with those clothes.
Oh, it's going to be an exciting time. Let me ask you, Patty, now with Mary Market, and I know that they're, you know, kind of working hand in hand with United Way. What does it mean for you as executive director, seeing the agency out trying to do things like that, so to kind of relieve some of the pressure that you all may feel?
Well, as we've talked about in the past few years, United Way is really looking at trying to address the root causes of a lot of the things that our agencies address. And one of the main problems we have in our community is a lack of education. I was talking to someone from the Labor Department yesterday, and even though our employment rate is higher, most of the people who are qualified for work now who want to work have jobs. The real problem is a lot of people don't have their GED or their high school education. So if we start with early learning and have children ready to learn when they enter school, their chances of graduating are much higher than those who haven't had any kind of preschool or any early learning experience. So when Stephanie was talking about Mary Market, all the funding going to early learning, we have a number of early learning programs throughout the community. Excuse me. There's the First Steps program at the hospital, and that deals with every new mother who gives birth, whether it's her first child or her sixth child. They're seen by the First Steps volunteer or coordinator, and they learn about the importance of education for your child, helping to read to your child, all of those things. And then they can transition from that program to the Troop Bell program. Troop Bell, as we've talked about before, used to serve a number of different neighborhoods in the community. Now, because the grant is over, we've entered into a contract for service where the existing Troop Bell parent educators serve only the housing authority. But we've received a grant from Saywan and also from the City of LaGrange, and we're in the process of hiring a new parent educator who'll work with people who are referred from the juvenile court judge, from DFACS, or from the school system as families that need additional help. So we're really trying to catch those families who may not understand the importance of early learning. As we were talking about before, I ran across a statistic not too long ago that says if you read to a child for 20 minutes a day, in a year you'll give that child 1 million words.
Oh my, isn't that
What?
awesome?
I mean, it just kind of takes your breath away to sit and think that reading can increase a child's vocabulary, but it does, and it helps make all those synapses in that early brain connect, so that when they're ready to learn more complicated things, they've got the pathways. You know, this is one of my passions.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Let me before we run out, let me ask you now, because Stephanie is coming up pretty soon. Talk about the silent auction, and also talk about the day and location one more time as we get ready to close out.
Great, thank you. 2 weeks from tomorrow, October the 18th, is the preview party. It starts at 5 o'clock. It goes from 5 until 8. With the preview party ticket, it's a premier ticket. It's a $25 ticket, but with that ticket, you get in all weekend. It's your donation, obviously, to early learning. You get in to the preview party, which is a limited number of tickets. We have food, we have beverage, we have entertainment. Robin Treadwell's coming and playing at the preview party. It's your first chance to shop and your first chance to look around. All our vendors are donating an item from their booth for our silent auction. So the silent auction will go on from 5 to 7:30. We also have we've owned our preview party this year. We've got some other local contributors to our silent auction to make it even bigger and better. Another thing that we're going to do, we have children's clothes and children's items in addition to the ladies' items that I mentioned. We're going to have a walk-around fashion show going on during the event as well. So it's the party. It's where you want to be. And your ticket will get you in all weekend too. Okay. So you can come with your spouse and make your wish list, and then you can come back Friday and Saturday without paying extra. Then the market is open from 9 to 7 on Friday, October the 19th. And from 9 till 5 on Saturday, October the 20th. Okay. And those are $5 tickets. And our tickets can be purchased online through our website, which is marymarketoflagrange.com. They can be purchased at Hutchinson Trailer Insurance Company, and they can be bought at the United Way office, and I will be, I always have them nearby me.
Okay.
If you see Stephanie, you can buy a ticket.
Right?
See me.
Well, ladies, I want to thank both of you very much for coming on and talking about Mary Market. We're looking forward to it again this year, and I'm sure that people will come out again and support it, because it is for a very worthwhile call. So, ladies, thank both of you for coming on City Week and talking about Mary Market this morning.
Thank you, Alton.
Right, we
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment.
I'm Barbie Watts, and this is Meet the Merchant for Downtown LaGrange. And I wanted to introduce everybody to Al Brannon. He is the owner, one of the owners of the Marketplace at Lafayette Square, and it's one of our newest businesses that's open downtown, and there's a lot of excitement here at 100 Bull Street. It's on the corner of Lafayette Square. So anyway, Al, it's good to have you here this morning. And I have a list of questions I have got a lot of information I wanted to cover with you, so I've got my list so I don't forget anything.
Very good.
I wanted to ask you, how long has the Marketplace been open in this location?
The Marketplace has been here for 5 months. We opened May 1st of this year. We were Connie's Antiques before on Ridley, and Robert Standard, myself, bought Connie's Antiques 2 years ago. And Connie's Antiques has been around for 17 years.
Really? I didn't realize that had been a business in our downtown for that long.
They were previously downtown at the Promenade.
Okay.
And the Promenade she moved for the Promenade to be made.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we're so happy to have you here, and it's brought a lot of life to this corner.
We're happy to be in this corner. Mm-hmm. Very happy.
Well, for the viewers that have not been into the store yet, would you give us an explanation of what type of business you have here?
Well, we are an antique business. We home decor, jewelry, collectibles, We have a wide range of new and old merchandise.
And I noticed you have a lot of original artwork from a
A
lot of our
lot
local.
of original artwork. We have local artists, probably 4 or 5 local artists, and we sell their stuff all the time. In fact, you're wearing one of our local artists' scarves that she's made this
Yes.
week.
I thought I would model that.
Yeah.
This
And
is a
it's-
new product for her, and you've got a lot of her merchandise in this.
We sell lots of her jewelry, her scarves, her artwork.
That's
So,
wonderful.
very good merchandise.
Yeah, it's a great place to come for gifts.
Very good place for gifts. Gifts for any occasion.
And then, about how many vendors do you have here now? in
We have
this location?
approximately 25 vendors in this store. Our previous place was about 7 or 8.
Wow.
And we have about 20 different people who do consignment items.
That's great.
So
So you were able to expand because you have a lot more
expand
room
from less than 2,000 square feet to almost 8,000 square feet.
here. Really, I had
Yes.
no idea there was that much space in this.
2 floors of happiness.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
You're right. And then, tell us what your business hours are.
Right now, we're Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5, and Sunday will be 11 to 5.
Okay. And that's you've extended
7 days a
hours
week.
for the holidays.
For
so
the
you're
holidays,
open 7 days a week.
will be Sundays for the holidays be 11 to 5.
Okay. And then have you seen? I know you've seen a big change in your business volume since you've moved here.
Our volume has increased from 600 to 800% since we've moved to this
Great.
corner.
Great. And then you obviously have a passion for this business. Is this your dream job? Is this what you always wanted to do?
This is my dream. I've always worked retail all my life, and I have a management degree, and I've always wanted to have my own shop. And so with Robert and I sharing this, it's been a wonderful adventure.
That's great. Well,
Very, very happy being here in LaGrange at this location.
well, we love having you here, and I want to encourage everybody that hasn't already been to the marketplace to come on in. Lots of wonderful merchandise here for all types of people and all price ranges. So, thanks, Al.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now my guest is from the Chamber of Commerce, the president, Paige Estes. Paige, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Alton. So nice to be with you this morning.
Well, Paige, I'm going to say this right now. I finally got you, didn't I?
You did.
I
You did.
did.
Our calendars collided.
That's right. Well, look, it's a pleasure to sit down with you. And, of course, we work together so much with the Chamber and the City of LaGrange. But let me just ask the question. But before you were the president there at the Chamber of Commerce, you did a little bit of transitioning back to the community. Talk a little bit about that, and then talk a little bit about the role there at the Chamber.
Sure. Well, it is so great to finally live and work in the same community, Alton. I moved to LaGrange many years ago when I was working for West Georgia Technical College, but my career took a different path. I went into another industry and ended up having an office in Roswell, Georgia, so north of Atlanta. But I love this community so much that I kept my home here, and I did a lot of driving, as you can imagine, for over 8 years. So when I decided to make yet another transition and was fortunate enough to find the position at the Chamber, I really had to become a new resident again, put different glasses on to see the community and understand how I could convince folks that this is really the great place to live, work, and play that is LaGrange and Troup County. So it's been really a wonderful opportunity for me to be reinitiated into the community, and I think bringing in that perspective to the Chamber has been helpful because I was able to look at it from a business perspective of trying to determine whether or not to join the Chamber, and then also put it on from a new resident almost in terms of reacclimating myself to the community. So it's been a great opportunity.
Well, we're just glad to have you back, and the Chamber's doing a wonderful job within the community. Again, the city, the county, and the surrounding areas working all together to make Troup County that greatest little city in America, as the slogan so goes. But then talk a little bit about your role there at the Chamber. What are some of the things that you deal with on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, we are a membership organization. organization. And I'm very proud that we have over 890 members, business members of the Chamber. And those are from folks right here in Troup County, and we certainly serve West Point, Hogansville, and LaGrange, as well as people from outside the community that want to do business in Troup County. So first and foremost, we serve our businesses. And that could be anything from providing networking opportunities where they can make relationships to hopefully encourage commerce between each member. But we also bring awareness to a lot of issues from an advocacy standpoint. We hosted several forums this summer to make sure that we had informed voters in Troup County before the recent primary elections. And of course, we do often events just to focus on Troup County as a whole to get people to want to come here, whether that's for a job, whether it's to live, or especially through our tourism function at the Chamber. We want them to come visit, see our great attractions we have, stay in our hotels, and then want to come back. So we have a variety of purposes, but I think probably if you had to sum it up in one statement, we're a connector. We're connecting our businesses together, we're connecting residents to opportunities in the community, and we're connecting people from outside the community to the opportunities that exist in Hogansville, LaGrange, West Point, and all of Troup County.
You know, that's a great word, connector, connecting everyone, because it takes all of us. You know, when you're talking about community, there's a common unit there. There's the common unity.
That's right.
So, you know, in being that connector to bring all of those things together, and I see it firsthand how well that thread has woven into our society. And you say you sponsor various events and things of that nature. I know there's one event that you all hold every month called the Early Bird Breakfast. Talk a little bit about that and some of the dynamic speakers that you all have had.
You know, it's interesting. We are a breakfast community, it seems like.
That's right.
A lot of my colleagues around the state tend to do things at lunch in the evening, but I seem to get everybody up early, and we appreciate it. But, you know, I was going back and counting before I drove in today and thought we're going to have over 5,000 people that have attended Chamber events over the course of 2012. And one of the largest draws would be our Early Bird Breakfast. We meet at the Delavant in downtown LaGrange with a networking coffee opportunity, but then we do bring in a speaker from various walks of life. We've had everyone from the CEO of Georgia Power, Paul Bowers, who was fascinating, to this month we have Twan Dogan, who was a classmate of mine in Leadership Georgia last year. She is actually over civic and corporate responsibility for IBM out of Atlanta and is responsible for all of Georgia. So talking about what that role would be for a small business up to a large corporation in terms of how we can better serve our communities that are providing our workforce and providing our income, obviously. And in November, I'm very proud that we're going to have Ron Jackson, the Commissioner for the Department of Technical and Adult Education, coming for the whole technical college system, with West Georgia Technical College being a large part of our community, and we've never had Mr. Jackson here. So that's going to be exciting, and I think provide a wealth of information about workforce development efforts that are happening across the state.
You know, you're talking about, you know, the connections and bringing in people like that to kind of, you know, I guess ignite that fire a little bit more about things that are happening here in our area. And you're talking about bringing in Dr. Dogan coming up this month, and talked about retail a little bit there. And I know that there are some initiatives that we have kind of moving in our community that you have your finger on the pulse. Talk a little bit about that for us.
Sure. You know, about 3.5 years ago, our chamber board took a look at what we had in our community. And we have a fantastic community. I love it. Obviously, I live here and want to be here. But there are things we don't have, and one of which are some retail options for our residents. We 100% support local businesses. We have a slogan in our organization called Trade and Troup, and I believe 100% in that. However, if you can't find something in Troup County, what do? You go spend a day, and perhaps you go to Noonan or Columbus or Opelika or even Atlanta. And oftentimes when you're making those purchases of something that's not here, you ended up buying things that you could have purchased locally, because we're spending the day and you want to make best use of your time. So we believe strongly that there are opportunities for us to bring other retailers to this community to provide those options to our local residents. And also, we're a draw. We have people that work in manufacturing jobs especially, and also in healthcare, that come to our community. They don't live here, but they work here, and you want to run by a store on your way home. So we're losing about $325 million a year just to other retailers that are within a 25-mile radius, and over $450 million a year if we expand that out to about 45 miles. So we are now working with the county, I hope. The City of LaGrange has recently endorsed the project, and we're also talking to Hogansville and West Point soon to bring in a consultant. They're called Retail Strategies out of Birmingham, Alabama, and they will help do some research for us in terms of potential, but also introduce introduce us to those retailers, connect them with local property owners and developers, and hopefully attract some of those folks that we know we need in this community. Everything from apparel to possible restaurants to sporting goods, something that we don't have in the community that we definitely see as a need.
Absolutely. You know, so many times, you know, when I've talked to developers, they come in, they do their due diligence and stuff, and they look at the population, whether it's enough to support the development they're trying to bring. So it's almost like which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Exactly.
You know, so
and we've been in a bit of a bind from that perspective. We've had fantastic job growth, but we've also had job losses. And because the economy took such a dive, a lot of the people that have taken new jobs in Troup County weren't able to sell their homes in other locations.
Right.
So they're not moving to Troup County. We have to do whatever we can to make people realize they don't just want to work here, they want to live here.
Right.
We've done focus groups with HR managers from various companies, and the first thing that we're told, it's a lack of retail in terms of why some people are stopping in Noonan, going farther south in Columbus, or going over to Alabama. We need to alleviate that from being an issue of the conversation, and that's the reason why we are very strongly focused on this initiative. But more importantly, I want to reassure all of our local businesses that are already here, we are still 100% supporting them, but we believe if we have other options, it just brings in more customers.
Absolutely.
And it also keeps people at home.
Absolutely. You know, and I think sometimes I always say this, I think we may be so ideally located because you were talking about in that 50-mile radius, the number of dollars that we're losing per year, and I know that's going to change. And as as I get ready to finish up, there's a couple of events that's coming up in the community that we need you to talk about. I had on Darby a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about the mud run. So talk a little bit about that, and then I think we want to finish up with the Christmas parade. Okay, so talk about some of those events coming up.
Tourism is obviously a very large portion of what we do, and we appreciate the City of LaGrange and also the county for providing funding for that operation. Two large events that Laura's working, the Mud Run, which is a road run coming up the first weekend in November, where people are going to be out at Pine Road Park and running through crazy obstacles and getting dirty. And we expect anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 folks coming into the community that weekend. So I think it's going to be quite fun. And then, of course, the annual LaGrange Christmas Parade.
Right.
It is a tradition that we've hosted for over 36 years throughout downtown LaGrange, and brings about 12,000 people throughout the streets that line the streets. This year's theme is Peace, Love, and Joy, because our Grand Marshal is Andrea Lovejoy, the past editor of the LaGrange Daily News. It's going to be on November the 29th, so it's not even in December. We always do it the Thursday after Thanksgiving. If people are interested in participating, they can go online to lagrangechamber.com and download an application.
Well, Paige, again, I want to just thank you. And, you know, there's a number of events. And, of course, give them your website if they want to go on there to see some of the other events upcoming.
Absolutely. LaGrangeChamber.com. There is a community calendar that's online. You simply can add your event and be able to view lots of things that are happening in the community, whether they're chamber-related or other organizations that are in our local community that are sponsoring them.
Well, thank you so very much, Paige. It's a pleasure to sit down with you always. And I just look forward to all the wonderful things that will continue to come out of the Chamber of Commerce and from the members of the Chamber. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Alton, for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining for City Week this week. My guests have been from United Way, Patty Youngblood, along with Stephanie Preston, who talked about the upcoming Merry Market. So we want to make sure that you come out and make sure you make your shopping list and take full advantage of all those wonderful things that you can find there. Also, I had on from the Chamber of Commerce, Paige Estes, as she talked about tourism and other upcoming events in our community. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you once again for joining me for City Week. And as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.